we can get actually off here without destroying it. The trick, of course, is the fact that it has no brakes and can only be stopped by putting it in gear. And obviously it doesn't run either, so that's where we got it. Hey, wanted to introduce everybody to the new project vehicle, and it is this. This is a 1949 Ford F-1. It's a little rough. Been sitting in a barn for, 30 years maybe. Don't have an exact date. All I have is the last vehicle registration for it. And one thing that's kind of nice about this vehicle, aside from broken out windows, aren't those nice, is it's pretty much complete. This vehicle came from Boone, Iowa. As a result, it's got sort of the sorts of effects that you would see from a vehicle that was driven in the Midwest. A little rusty underneath, but it seems to be pretty solid. And let's take a quick look. All right, quick peek in the radiator. Shows that we've got fluid in there, so at least she's holding. This truck is set up with a 226 flathead straight six. Not quite as coveted as the flathead V8. However, when this truck was built back in '49, the straight six only put out about 5 horsepower less than the V8. So from a power perspective, not much of a difference between these vehicles. The one nice thing actually about the straight six as compared to the V8 is that it is kind of considered a little bit more robust, less prone to cracking and whatnot. But this one definitely could use some love. Take a quick peek, and it looks like, if I can, looks like the engine will turn. The spark plugs look remarkably new. I don't know if they've ever been run or not, but they're definitely really clean looking. Popped off the distributor cap earlier, and the distributor cap looks pretty new, as do the points underneath. They don't look all corroded. But it's still equipped with a 6-volt system. And looks like we got everything here. Fuel pump down below there is actually got a little glass, sight glass down in there, and the fluid that's down in there looks pretty badly varnished. There's this little canister looking thing right there. I have no idea what that is. That looks like some sort of add-on starter hidden down in there. I don't know if it works yet. I don't have a battery for this thing. A couple of chewed up wires. The rodents have definitely been making a home in this vehicle. And what you'll see from looking in the cab is absolutely a wreck. And if you stick your head in here, it smells kind of like the cross between stale Doritos and a petting zoo and some dead stuff. It's nasty. Running boards, as I said actually in my other video, kind of held together with rust and paint. A couple of patches on there. Bed has this metal thing in it, and originally I thought, wow, I didn't realize that Ford had a metal bed option. Nah, that's not what this is. This is an add-on at some point. It is not original. It's sitting over top of a rotten wood bed, and there's, let me stand back. It's kind of held on a little bit. Not really. Oops. Not really held on. It's unfortunate all the window glass is broken out, but basically it seems to be fairly solid. Driver's side door latch could use a little bit of oil, but the next thing I have to do is I need to get in here and clean up this nasty hantavirus filled, Lord knows what sort of toxicity kind of setup that's inside here. This is going to be a job. So I got to suit up because I don't want to breathe this stuff. So here's how you protect yourself. Looks a little bit better. There's some stuff tucked in there still. Doesn't look too horrible. The floor pans actually seem to be in reasonably good shape. The bench seat also fairly good. I noticed as I was trying to pull out all the burlap, which was a ton of it in here, that the coils and the seats were individually wrapped in burlap. I guess that was from the factory originally. And it made pulling things apart really, really hard. I think in order to get the rest of the stuff out, I'm going to have to take the bench seat out, and I was already planning to do that anyway in order to get reupholstered. Still a little bit of the liner material is still in here. The liner's still in here, so that needs to come out, but I think I can probably salvage a lot of the fasteners. Roof's a little on the kind of crispy side, but not horrible. But you know, it's a reasonable starting point. I'm happy to see the floors in the shape that they're in. Get down a little lower. You can kind of look up underneath here. So that's pretty good. Flipping the seats forward. Whoop. Gas tank. Obviously, there's been a lot of stuff going on there. Rodents or whatever. It's a little dusty. Fuel sending unit looks like it's been leaking a little bit. There's the line for the fuel tank on the outside. So you can get kind of a view of what bits and pieces are here. The other thing that was kind of cool was the fact that I did find some of the original seat material, which I salvaged a bit of it. At least gives me an idea of what the color is, and from there I can actually make, get the replacement for it. But hey, it's progress. So that's without all the gunk. It smells a lot better. Still has a ways to go to kind of air out, but anyway, there's that much progress. You can see suspension components, the bushing on that. Actually, I think the whole shock absorber is just toast. You take a look at the kingpins. Things are a little wobbly over there. I changed the tires out with something that actually had some not cracked up rubber on it. And found that the bearings, I think, need to be replaced. So I'm gonna clean all that stuff up. Inside the wheel wells don't look horrible. This is the rubber on the shocks. Doesn't look as bad, but definitely needs some attention. I'll take care of that. A lot of oil leaking out of the oil pan and above, but again, to be honest, I'm kind of happy to see that because it means it salvaged a few things. More than likely, I'm sure the bolts will probably come off more easily. The other thing I can see a little bit through some of this gunk is the original color for the oil pan, and it looks like it was red, which means I think the engine was painted red, which will be good to see. The exhaust system is literally held on with baling wire, and there's an odd number of C-clamps and other things, but it's definitely going to need to go. It doesn't surprise me. Manual transmission also leaking pretty badly. We'll get to that too. They're covered with animal hair. Oh, that's kind of weird. Master cylinder is pretty badly. That's the outside linkage part. Master cylinder, pretty gunked up. I don't know if I can rebuild it. We'll have to take a look. The rear end seals for the transmission are pretty gone. cross member rusty, but chip away at all the rust, we can see whether or not it's in good enough shape to salvage. Got this other cross member here. This one's actually the one that's really bad. We'll ignore that for right now. It's completely rotted and cracked all the way through. So that cross member is doing pretty much not really going across. Differential. Oh, I can't really stand back far enough. Back wheels. More baling wire. That's a little twisted up. I think we might be able to bang it back into shape, hopefully. Again, the frame looks to be solid and complete. That piece can be replaced there. I think you probably got the wrong kind of wiring on those taillights. Bed definitely needs some love. Running boards, a few holes through them, but I don't know, they might be salvageable, we'll see. Along with the bracketry that holds the running boards in place, seems to be solid. Insides of the fenders have a few extra attachment points and some cracked metal, but I might be able to fix that too. A lot of this looks like surface rust. I don't think it looks too bad. I don't know what that goes to. It's a petcock on it and some tubing. The brake lines here in the back look a little sketchy. I think I'm gonna have to replace all the lines before I do too much. Well, there you go. That is the introduction to the 1949 F-1. There'll be more videos coming out in the coming months as we start tackling individual pieces of this project. The first will be the brakes, so that I don't end up rolling this thing off into the woods uncontrollably. At least if it starts to get away from me, I'll be able to hop in and hit the brakes and get it to stop, or set the emergency brake, which neither one of those work at the moment. Then after that, we'll start tackling the engine and seeing if we can get it to turn over. That should hopefully be fairly exciting. And if there's anything that you, as the viewer of this video, have in mind, or things that you can suggest or offer, I'm more than happy to entertain any of that stuff. This is a project vehicle for me. I've not worked on anything quite this old. It has a lot of similarities to my 53 Ford, though the 53 has a more modern engine and it's got a 351 Windsor instead of the original stock flathead like it originally had. But if you like this video or are interested in seeing more of these projects, please like and subscribe. I welcome any feedback and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.